Good afternoon and welcome to the third annual New Jersey Youth Transition Conference. My name is Amy Yedley and I work for Values into Action on behalf of the YTC Planning Committee. I'm pleased to present my colleague, Christina Rappisi, who will be presenting on the topic of group homes and day programs. Are these the only options? Christina?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Christina Rappisi, and I am the Director of Support Coordination at Values into Action. And today I'm going to go over group homes and day programs. Are these the only options? Self-directing your services. So first things first, as I said, I'm part of Values into Action. We are one of the original 3 support coordination agencies in New Jersey. We pride ourselves on getting involved at all levels. We try to meet people where they are and to offer solutions and options, not only when it comes to those supported, but also at the state level. We partner with the Division of Developmental Disabilities to provide feedback on processes, procedures, and updates. It truly is a team effort. Support coordination. First, I'm going to give you a brief overview of support coordination so you understand how your support coordinator can best assist you when self-directing your life. And why you choose your support coordinator is imperative to your self-direction journey. What do support coordinators do? First, we're here to listen to you and your family about what you want in your life. We facilitate your planning session to create your individual support plan that reflects your vision for what you want. We translate your hopes into a plan that guides you and your team, and we help to manage your DDD budget as established by the NJCAT. It's not just about writing the plan, it's also about finding out what does the person want or need. How can this plan help to translate a person's good life? How can we ensure that it captures what the person doesn't want as well? Your support coordinator is there to take you step by step. The process can be overwhelming, but it's good to think about it as a journey over time and break it apart into different sections because nothing is set in stone. You can change your mind about services and different things that you thought that you wanted in your life and no longer want those things. Your support coordinator will check in with you at least once per month to see how things are going for you. We collaborate with your service providers to make sure you're doing what you want and getting the support that you need. We update your plan as needed and at least once per year. And we're there to connect you with resources and services that you control and direct. Think about your support coordinator as your sidekick. We're here to talk through your situation and different ideas that you may have about what you want in your life. And we help you to take it one step at a time. You can try new things. You're never locked into services. So if you decide to start a service and it's not working out for you, you just make a call to your support coordinator, speak also to the provider, and you can decide to end the service when you wish. We're here to help you reach the true vision of what you want in your life. When to start looking for a support coordinator? You will want to start researching support coordination agencies at least 1 year before your 21st birthday. Start by asking your community, your friends, your allies, who they like for their support coordination agency. We would suggest calling at least a few support coordination agencies and interviewing them with your top 10 questions about what's important to you, what is their management style like in their organization, maybe how many support coordinators work there. Are they regionalized? Do the support coordinators live in the counties that they're serving? It's important to ask different questions to get an idea of the support coordination agency as a whole. What to look for in a support coordination agency? What is their experience? How long have they been doing support coordination? What are their values? What's their supervision structure? And how do they support their support coordinators? What counties do they serve, and are they conflict free? Having a good team behind you, which includes a great support coordinator, is what makes or breaks the journey of self-direction. Selecting a support coordination agency. You have the option to choose, and if you don't choose on your own, then DDD will auto assign you to a support coordination agency. We always suggest that you choose yourself because there are over 160 support coordination agencies in New Jersey. So when you're auto assigned, you don't really know where you're going to end up. Once you submit your support coordination agency selection form to the division, you'll be assigned to that support coordination agency by the end of the calendar month. Your support coordinator has 72 hours to contact you once they have been notified of your assignment. It's important to note as well, if you end up getting auto assigned or you choose a support coordination agency and you start working with the agency and you're not happy with their services, you can always change your mind and fill out that support coordination selection form again. And then DDD will assign you in the following months to your new choice. Okay, so next we're going to go over what is self-direction. We want to focus on self-direction during this presentation. I just want to note that day programs and group homes are choices and service options that you can tap into with your DDD budget. But for the purposes of this presentation, we're going to focus more on self-direction and how to access the self-directed service option. Every support coordinator is able to help you with either services, and your budget is able to pay for any type of service that's offered by the division. So we're going to focus on self-direction, since a lot of times we see and hear from families and individuals that are just graduating from school. A lot of times they are under the impression that group homes and day programs are the only option. So we like to explain other service options for them because you can live in your community. You can live at home, you can have your own apartment, and then access more self-directed services rather than relying on those traditional services. So what is self-direction, and how is a self-directed model different from a traditional model of service? The self-directed option is a person-centered planning with delivery of services in the home or community. It's more directed by the person's strengths, needs, and desires, and promotes personal choice and control over the delivery of waiver and state plan services, including who provides the services and how services are provided. So you are really in more control of the service, of the people that are supporting you, the staff that are coming in and out of your home. Because when you tap into a system-centered approach, the resources and services are predetermined without consideration of the individual's needs, strengths, or goals. People supported are defined and treated through the idea of what the system needs in order to run efficiently. Promotes system efficiency, rules, regulation, and an authority over people. Examples of a person-managed self-directed model. So with self-direction, a person could hire their own support staff. A person would live in their own community with that support. And a person spends their day as anyone else without a disability would, of their own choosing. And you're assuming dignity of risk. So with a self-directed option, you can choose what you're going to do throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month. What activities do you want to participate? What time do you want to go to those activities? And who do you want to join you within those activities? Examples of a provider-managed, system-centered model is a provider determines a person's day, what activities they participate in, what they eat, who they associate with, where they go in the community, and who their support staff is. These are typically group homes and day programs. Self-direction is really tapping into all of these different services that you can access with your DDD budget. So we support a few people, more than a few people, who tap into self-direction. And I want to give you some examples of what their life looks like and what types of services and activities that they're participating in and what they use their DDD budget to access. So we have one person who, when they came to us, as we got to know him, we found out that he loves to act and sing and dance. So he had looked into classes that he could take to do the things that he loves. So he tapped into a dance studio and acting classes. And as his schedule built more and more with the things that he liked to do, we started to get videos of him from his father, and he was having an amazing time. The father will send us videos of him singing at like the local fair, singing like the national anthem. We'll get videos of him performing a different dance at the dance studio, and you can just see how tapping into classes based on what he likes to do is bringing him a lot of joy. So that's an example of self-directing your services. He chose not to attend a day program, but instead set up his week to be filled with different acting and singing and dancing classes to bring him out into the community and doing the things that he loves. We have another person who loves to go to Wawa and has ended up getting a job at Wawa, restocking the coffee bar, restocking the refrigerator and the freezers, and he's utilized supported employment in order to do that. So he has a staff person with him while he's at work, making sure that he has the support that he needs to do his job effectively and to the best that he can. We have another person who tapped into environmental modifications for his home and has had a deck and a ramp built so that he can easily and safely access his home. And now he loves sitting outside on the deck in the sun, bird watching, and having a moment of silence to decompress. And it has been awesome for the family to have that ramp to get him, like I said, safely inside and outside of the home. People tap into community-based support, and you can utilize this service. It would be a staff person coming in and picking you up at home and then taking you out into the community. And you can do your errands, meet up with your friends. If there's a local coffee shop or something that you want to check out in your local community, that person can take you there. You want to go and volunteer or go to the library, tap into your local YMCA. Maybe there are some groups through the local recreation center that you're interested in trying. So it's really up to the person to create the schedule with the help, of course, of the staff person if they are struggling to come up with some ideas of what they want to fill their time with. And then also another one that's super popular right now is transportation. A lot of people are tapping into different companies that offer Uber and Lyft services so that they can order their ride and get to where they want to go, whether that's, work or to meet up with someone to run their errands, whatever have you. That's a super popular service, which would be through also a goods and services. Okay, so two of the most exciting budget options are support brokerage and goods and services. A support broker is essential to living a self-directed life. A support broker will work with you to help identify and hire personal support staff. And a support broker can also help identify community resources, which is referred to as community mapping. And then the goods and service option, which I had spoken a little bit about, can use to pay for traditional community services like a yoga class, a gym membership, horseback riding, the dance classes that we talked about, maybe some art classes. So it's really up to the person, the family, their team to research, like what is it that they want to try, and then what places are willing to work with the fiscal intermediaries to tap into that DDD budget so that it can be paid for through the budget. So services must be the cost of what is customary for the service. So example of that would be like you wouldn't be able to join a $500 a month gym. It would have to be what's considered reasonable and customary by the division. So when your support coordinator enters in those services, it'll get yellow lighted, which means it has to go to the division for their review and approval first before we can approve it. So all of these things take a lot of time. It's a journey. I always tell people that to kind of do one thing at a time. Sometimes we have people come to us and they have like a ton of things that they want to accomplish, which is fantastic that you have goals and like where you want to go in life. But it can become very overwhelming. So what we suggest is really figuring out like what's priority number one and getting that set up and going, see how you're feeling with that, see how it's going. Are you liking it? You want to keep the service? And then when that's good, tapping into that next thing. So what would be second on your list? And then third, fourth, and so on. So it's definitely, it takes time. A lot of times when people are first transitioning into adult services, that first year, they're not spending the entirety of their budget because they're figuring things out. So, and then by maybe the second or third year, then all of a sudden you're like, wow, my budget is maxed out and I'm using all of these different services and I don't like, how did we get here? But it's because you want to take it step by step and break it down to what's most important and really feel comfortable and confident in what you're doing before you start throwing too many things onto your plate. And that's where your support coordinator can come in and help you with that and talk through those situations with you to make sure that you're not feeling that pressure. So let's talk about a self-directed employee versus a direct support professional. So this is someone that would come to your home and take you out into the community or work with you at home on maybe cooking, cleaning, self-care stuff. So you have two options when it comes to that type of service. You have what's called a self-directed employee. A lot of times we tend to speak in acronyms in our role, and it would be referred to as an SDE. So an SDE is a self-hired support person. This could be a family member, legal guardian, someone that you know and trust. The person or a family member would be the employer of record. And the self-directed employee would be supervised and managed by the person and their family. And the self-directed employee's payroll would be processed through a fiscal intermediary, and a family member, friend, etc., can be paid to be a support person. So you want to think about someone that you enjoy spending time with, that has similar interests to you, that's going to want to go out into the community and do the things that it is that you're wanting to do, right? So having similar interests is super important. On the flip side of that, you have a direct support professional. Now, you can have both of these things at one time. You don't have to have one or the other. A DSP is a support person employed by an agency. The DSP is managed and supervised by that hiring agency, and the employing agency is the employer of record. The DSP would not personally be selected by the person who they support. So typically what happens is you have a conversation with the DSP agency and you tell them the things that are important to you, what you're looking to accomplish by having this service, maybe what type of characteristics of a support person that are important to you. And then they would recruit a staff person for you. Now you are able to meet that person obviously before they start working with you. However, you're not hand selecting the person. So I like to mention though to people and to remind people that when you're using either of these options, you still have control over if you want to continue with that staff person, that service, that agency. So you can always say no, this person really, I've gone out with them a few times and I don't think they're really understanding what I want to do, or they're not interested, they don't seem engaged. You can tell the provider agency that you would like to look for a different staff person. So again, you're not locked into or forced to work with someone that you don't want to work with. If it's not working out, you let your support coordinator know, you let the agency know, and then we figure out next steps. So drivers and challenges of hiring a self-directed employee. So some of the pros of having a self-directed employee, or better known as SDE, is that the person is in control of their support staff and can pay their staff their decided rate, which could be up to $25 an hour. Now, everything has to fit within the budget that you're given by the division, but you have the option of what the hourly rate is going to be as long as it fits. So the person can hire family or friends as their support staff. The fiscal intermediaries help manage employer-related responsibilities. The person can use a supports broker to help hire, train, and onboard a self-directed employee. And a person can train their self-directed employee on how they want to be supported. The person is the ultimate boss. Some of the challenges of having a self-directed employee is that it puts more responsibility on the person and their family in regards to this type of service. You may have to wait for the paperwork to be processed. The person would go for a background check, fingerprinting, that can take time. They would be going for a background check and fingerprinting through the provider agency as well. But you have people kind of tracking that through the agency rather than yourself in this scenario with a self-directed employee option. Finding that self-directed employee can sometimes be challenging if you don't already have someone in mind. And working with the fiscal intermediaries can sometimes be a challenge as too. So there is an interactive map to help find support staff. That is the link at the bottom of the page there, www.thecollaborativenj.org. So definitely check that out and use that as a tool and a resource. It's an awesome resource to help identify self-directed employees who are looking for work, even provider agencies that have DSPs ready to go that maybe live near you or in your area. And they also will put their schedule on there sometimes of like so you already know like what hours and whatnot that they're able to work. Drivers and challenges of hiring a direct support professional. Pros of a DSP are that the DSP agency has the responsibility of processing new hire paperwork, including background checks, fingerprinting, etc. The DSP agency supervises the DSP, and the DSP agency trains the DSP. Some of the challenges of going through a provider agency to access a DSP is that the person has little say over who their DSP is and little control over who comes to their home. The DSP may or may not have things in common with the person they support, and the DSP agency decides on the rate of pay for that staff person, and it's typically $12 to $15 an hour. The DSP sometimes doesn't show up for their shift, and there could be high turnover when it comes to DSPs. Okay, so here we have a curated 30+ community transition resource folder. If you are interested in this information, you can email me for a link to the transition resource guide. Here's my email, christina.r@vianj.org. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I hope that you were able to take away a few things and feel more confident in your journey to self-direction and utilizing support coordination to the best of your ability. Have a wonderful day.